Okay, here we go. The ball is in the air. Quick movement from Jacob Holmes, and the Crocs will get first possession. Markovic has Blanchfield now, looking inside. Josh Pace stepping out for the release pass. His defense backs off and offers him the shot, but he doesn't want it. Hinder goes first. It's a little left and comes off the rim, and Josh Pace was there to swoop on the offensive glass. Blanchfield moving nicely to the rim, but comes up with a miss. Crocs still hustling for the loose ball, and once again get another possession through Jacob Holmes. Markovic off the on ball. Back to Hinder, wide open, gets a better look this time, and Russell Hinder delivers for his fans.
What a way to start your last game at the Swamp, nailing the three-pointer. Great work by Russell Hinder. The Wollongong Hawks there, Trevor, in a bit of a switching defense. I suppose both teams are evenly matched on the floor at the moment, so interesting matchup from the Hawks as Oscar Foreman just drives strong to the hoop, finishes for two, and
oh, nice smooth move from Foreman, and he got that. Literally, Jacob Holmes dropped that ball, but it came inbound straight into the hands of Oscar. Said, thank you very much, I'll have another two. Markovic takes it in. Pace through the gap. Oh, good handoff from Pace to Blanchfield. Great vision, and Blanchfield finishes up. 5 points to 4. The Crocs by 1 at this point. Nice touch on the rim, but it just comes up a little short, and it is Blanchfield who grabs the rebound. Markovic looking to find his way into the traffic again, and it's Jacob Holmes with a miss on the left-hand side. This is Rodney Clark, number 15. Keep an eye on him tonight. Good ball movement from the Hawks. Clark goes from downtown, and that was as sweet as you like.
That's the ball movement that the Wollongong Hawks are known for. Kick the ball around, such a team-orientated offense right there. They had 4 or 5 sets of hands before the shot went up. In saying that, Todd Blanchfield fires and misses. Here come the Hawks up the other end of the floor.
Well, a good kick out from Markovic, but he was off the mark, and there's Clark again, pushing, penetrating, looking for options. And that's Rhys Martin.
Nice strong move by Rhys Martin. Just got good position, kept dribbling until he was in position under the hoop. Got Josh Pace right under the hoop and finished strong with the two-pointer as the Crocodiles are trying to get some sort of offense flowing here, but that'll do it.
That's the way to do it. Some instant offense for you. A little jab step and a head fake, and got his defender just a step far enough away, and Blanchfield knocks down to the 3. This is Rhys Martin again. Oscar Foreman. Conrads pulls up. Nice touch from Tim Conrads.
It always ceases to surprise me. The Wollongong Hawks just always perform and reach their peak at the right end of the season. And I'm going to say it now, Trev. I reckon if the Wollongong Hawks can get into the top 4, they're going to go a long way. They're going to get probably to the semis and maybe even to the finals. That's a big call, I know, but I just have a feeling.
Yeah, just don't write them off. They're the kind of team that likes playoff time. And don't Townsville fans know, I'm sure they still haven't forgotten that grand final series here back in 2001 when the Hawks picked us off and picked up their first championship, and Townsville is still looking for one. Josh Pace now. Hands it back to Markovic.
Pace has just gone low. He sort of shot a fadeaway left-handed. We're more used to him going towards the hoop with that left hand, so
let's have a look at this one.
I guess that was the read by the defense is a standoff Pace, because he doesn't have that much of a reliable shot from outside the keyway.
Well, it's not what he goes to look for him, and I think he can shoot the ball, but it's just not what he's comfortable with. And I've got to tell you, Rodney Clark's comfortable from the three-point line. That was deadly.
That was, and the defense was right there in his face, and he said, thank you very much, I've got a little bit of room, knocks down the three-pointer.
Greg Vanderjack throwing the little left-hand jump hook, came up empty-handed, but it was Josh Pace hustle that got the Crocs another possession.
Last time these two teams met, Trev, was back in round 18 at the Wynn Entertainment Centre. The Wollongong Hawks came away winners by 15 points, and Rodney Clark was a leading scorer with 26 points in that match.
Good vision once again from Steve Markovic creating, and Josh Pace this time knocking down that little mid-range jumper. It's a two-point game at the moment. It's the Hawks in front. Pace just got a little hand on that ball as Conrad was heading towards the rim. They come up with a miss, the Hawks, and it's Pace now pushing it down court. playing something of a point guard role for a moment, and that's a nice little floater.
That's a better shot by Josh Pace, just to go towards the hoop, get himself inside that keyway, and use that left-hand floater, which is so effective for him.
Scores are locked at 14 apiece as we're about the midway point of the first quarter. We've got a foul off the ball, down low.
And while we have a break here, a little bit of information for the viewers about, we'll just have another look at this off-ball foul.
Yeah, look at Josh Pace down low under the basket. He's the man that's been called. Called for a holding foul there.
Russell Hinder went to the AIS in 1997. He then went to the University of San Francisco and Augusta State, came to the West Sydney Razorback, then the Hunter Pirates, then the Sydney Kings. And now he is with Townsville. So a stellar career by Russell Hinder, as we see Rodney Clark misses the three. Crocs have the ball. Well,
he's 2 of 3 so far, so the odds are well and truly in his favour. You're going to see them going up from out there. Mitch Norton is on the floor for the Crocodiles. Does a good job, Mitch, of getting into traffic as well. He and Markovic are the kind of players who can find their way in there and get some sort of an outcome generally. This is Rhys Martin. Good vision from Martin, and equally well picked up by Conrads as they knock off the 2 points. As we have a timeout coming up, good, interesting start, Kelvin. 16-14, it's close, and as we thought, you know, I don't think anyone's going to run away with this one. But some nice play from both teams so far.
Absolutely, and I think Sean Dennis hit the nail on the head about Wollongong Hawks, that they've freed up their game a bit. They're tending to run a bit more, and we've seen that already in this game. And they're not just trying to grind down in an offensive set, which is still what they're pretty good at. They're pretty good at just settling in the half court. But this just adds another dynamic to the Wollongong Hawks game, which is hard to guard, especially when you've got Rodney Clark, Rhys Martin, those sort of people running the floor.
That's not the best picture I've seen of Russell, but you can see the fans love him. But yeah, keep going, mate.
I don't know, exactly where that photo has come from. Or he's probably looking at a referee, I think.
Could be.
Thinking, what the... So it's good tactics by Gordy McLeod to switch up the game plan of the Wollongong Hawks. But, you know, you look at their team, the team that's coming onto the floor, or the team that was on the floor: Rhys Martin, Larry Davison, Tyson Demos, Tim Conrad, Oscar Foreman, Dave Gruber. These guys have been playing together for the last 5, 6, probably more years. They know how they know each other's games, and that's what makes them such an effective team.
Well, I think you've got to play something more of a running game in this league too. It's not about big guys lumbering up and down and playing in the half court. The big men are mobile as well. Good look from Greg Vanderjack there, but a nice deflection from the Hawks defense. Knocked it over the end line. Crocs will have still 13 seconds on the shot clock, so plenty of time. But yeah, I think you need to be able to play something of a running game in this league, or you can get left behind.
Absolutely. I think we mentioned that when Adelaide were in town, we talked about Luke Schentzer and the 7-footers in this league, and how the contest is very speed orientated nowadays, and that's why Brian Conklin's so effective, because he's a big guy that can get up and down the floor quite quickly.
Mitch Norton now going inside again. Good pass again out to Jacob Holmes. He just dragged Larry Davidson in to help there. Norton did, so a nice easy 2. 16 points apiece. Very even contest here right now. As the Hawks go to work, Tiggs is in the game, which is good. Looking forward to seeing him in action. Clark, quick crossover, but a nice little strip there from Mitch Norton. Knocked the ball free. Crawford's in, saved that one in fact, as the pass was a little wide. Boy, that was a tough pass inside. I don't know how it got through the gap, but Josh Pace picked it up. Yeah, definitely thread the needle on that one, but Josh Pace looks like he's limping a little bit as he was coming up the floor there, and you'll see him dribble it up here. It's a wild pass, it gets reeled in, but it's this pass to thread the needle by Jacob Holmes to find Pace on the baseline, and that's something that Pace and Conklin do so well, is hover around that baseline and try and look for little gaps, because quite often as a defender, your back is towards the basket, so you lose vision of that player on the baseline. And did well to get the shot up in that traffic as well, to get himself a shooting opportunity at the free throw line. He's made the first, lining up the second, and both of them were dead centre. Some changes coming. Oscar Foreman's on his way in for the Hawks, along with Rhys Martin. Clark is taking a rest. He's had an enterprising start to the game. Has 6 points beside his name already. Tiggs now. Foreman goes cross-court to Martin. And Larry Davidson just stepping out to the top of the keyway. Nothing happening there. Foreman has a good ball movement into the corner. Shots off the mark, but there's Tiggs. in a rebounding contest with Mitch Norton. He won the battle, but Jacob Holmes grabbed a nice rebound for Townsville and sent them off into motion. Pace now. Double team coming straight away. Norton will have to answer with a triple, and does.
That's a great shot by Mitch Norton, and it does a couple of things. It makes the defender respect his three-point shot, especially when you're a guy that's known to get to the hoop. Knocking down that first three-pointer makes the defender step up a little bit closer to you next time down the floor.
Tiggs and Pace in a real little wrestling match down there, going head-to-head in that one-on-one contest. Beautiful stuff from Tiggs. He just backed him down, and a nice left-handed finish. Norton once more. Oogs goes very early in the piece, and he's feeling it. Crocs got themselves a 5-point lead at the moment as we head into the later stages of the first quarter here in Townsville. You're watching NBL TV, and it's great to have you with us. Good ball movement, excellent ball movement from the Hawks. Oscar Foreman comes up with a miss, but they get it back with a wide rebound. Davidson kicks it back out to Martin. Martin looks back at him, but there's nothing on. Crocs in a zone at the moment. Tiggs takes it inside, gets challenged, kicks it out. Martin with some space. A little off the mark. That's a hell of a chop from Davidson. He did it all one hand.
Bit of a tussle down there on the low block between Davidson and Greg Vanderjack. Peter Crawford lucky to get away with that one.
Nice handoff to Jacob Holmes, who read the play well, made himself available to Crawford for the handoff. And Holmes has another couple. Tiggs once more. Oscar Foreman wide open. This time, makes no mistake. Down goes the triple for Foreman.
Look, the ball movement from the Wollongong Hawks is fantastic. They're just spreading it on the three-point line. And if you try and cover one player, the next player is open with that extra pass. They just haven't knocked every shot down so far. But Oscar Foreman, he probably could have just started something then.
Crawford went baseline, found Vanderjack, again got it back to Holmes, and the Crocs coming up with a miss in the end. There was a nice little combinations, but it all resulted in nothing, but they do have possession still.
Got a couple of substitutions here. Rodney Clark back in for Tiggs.
That was a very short stint on the bench for Rodney. It was about a minute. You don't leave one of your guns out for too long. As Russell Hinder has come back in for the Crocs, so too has Todd Blanchfield. Norton being challenged at the top of the keyway there by Tyson Demos. Finds his way in the paint. Mitch Norton won that battle in the end.
Yep, that
persistence pays off.
Fantastic drive by Mitch, because he's just knocked down 2 3-pointers. Oscar Foreman had to get up nice and close to him, and that gave the opportunity for the driving lane.
And the Hawks respond quickly, taking it at the Crocs defense. Well, it's Blanchfield that had picked up the foul, and that's that man, Rodney Clark, is on the free throw line. Nice touch. Practices or rehearsals his release on the shot. That's how you do it. And not time. This time it doesn't come up with a win. All right, it is still the Hawks' ball off the end line, though. The Crocs really should have secured that rebound off a missed free throw, Kelvin. That's a critical mistake.
Absolutely. 2 players going for the ball at the same time. Gives the Hawks another opportunity here.
Rhys Martin gets the on-ball screen from Larry Davison, goes the opposite way. Hinder challenges. Little fade away from Martin, just hits the back of the rim and comes back at it. And this is Mitch Norton now. Norton, who actually leads all scorers in the game at this point. We've talked about others and their scoring potential. Russell Hinder, he's living the dream tonight. That's 2 triples from 3 attempts from Big Rusty. You can see the smile on the face. My last night out, and I'm going to enjoy it.
Exactly, 2 from 2. And Russell Hinder, he's had double-digit points in the last 3 games, and his season average is only 5.8. Over his career, 146 for the Crocs, 348 in the league. Very experienced. We see Tyson Demos.
Very quick crossover once again. Showing some speed on the way in for what was a very simple 2-pointer. Last few seconds of the quarter now as the Crocs will roll this one down and look to take the last shot. Norton backs up. This one's a bit long. Russell Hinder does well. Gets Peter Crawford a last-ditch attempt. And it's just a little wide of the mark. Well, we head to the quarter-time break, folks. 31-24. Crocodiles in front. I have to tell you, Kelvin, I felt like the Hawks were, with a team I'm expecting to win this one. Right now, the Crocs are looking pretty damn good.
They're looking good, the Crocs, absolutely. They're just looking efficient, I think is the right word to use for that. They're taking the opportunity when it arises. Mitch Norton has been fantastic since he's come on the floor. Russell Hinder's knocked down his first 2 3-pointers. The Wollongong Hawks need to step it up a gear here, and before they let the Crocodiles run away with too big of a lead. One thing that Rodney Clark has done well, though, is he's recognised that the scoreboard for the Wollongong Hawks isn't clicking over that fast, so he's trying to get himself to the foul line to try and keep the points ticking over.
A lot of discussion there between Gordy McLeod and his coaching staff before he goes into this into the huddle with his team. It is a 2-minute quarter-time break. We're almost halfway through that break, so no communication with the players just yet. So the coaches want to be absolutely sure what message they want to pass on before they go in to talk to their players. About settling, about refocusing, and refocusing was one of the statements that Gordy made pre-game in some reports that I've seen about how they had that 5-game winning streak and you're ticking over and everything's going your way. They lose in Cairns. They're in that hunt for a playoff berth. And I think he said he really wanted to be sure these players were focused on this game and not thinking too far ahead.
Absolutely. You know, you've got to live in the present. You can't change anything about the past or anything in the future. And I think for the Hawks, when they got beaten by the Crocodiles by 13 points in Wollongong, they went on their 5-game winning streak straight after that. So
there's the Twitter address, Kel.
The Twitter address, hashtag NBL TSV versus Wollongong. Fire in a question. Contribute to the conversation. Tell us what you think about the game, or maybe if you think Wollongong will win or if Townsville will win. Let us know what your thoughts or your best moment of Russell Hinder's career is. As we see him on the floor there, he's had some good quality minutes thus far, knocking down 2 3-pointers.
Looking down the stats just quickly, Kelvin, it's a pretty high quality game. The shooting percentages for the Crocs, 52 from the field overall, 56 from the 3-point line. The Hawks, on the other hand, 50% from the field, 38 from the 3-point line, and down a little bit. But the rebounds, 11 for the Crocs, 6 for the Hawks, but turnovers only 1 apiece. So we're not seeing the ball being coughed up. Both teams looking after it pretty well. It's really a matter of whether you can convert on the back end when you're taking care of possession. All right, the Hawks have it first. This is Foreman, looks inside. All right, Crocs responding. Hinder inside, gets the ball stripped from his hands. As the Hawks looking down court through, it was Rhys Martin. Conrads takes it in. The basket has been waved away. I'm surprised at that, Kelvin. Let's take a look at the replay.
He'll get the bump here, and does he pick the ball up? He does pick the ball up. Yeah, so my thoughts, that would have been a continuation.
Yeah, I think, mate, I would be, if I was a referee, I'd be saying 2 points count. Tim Conrads is still asking the question of the officials. I think he should have been stepping up to the free throw line there to complete a 3-point play. Either way, they still have the ball, though, and they need to get on with the task. This is Gruber up against Hinder. Hinder just reached in and got a little slap on the ball there. Not much in it, but that was enough.
It seems like the instruction at halftime from Gordy McLeod for the Wollongong Hawks was to pump it inside a few times. Last couple of plays down the floor where they've had a half-court set, they've gone straight to Dave Gruber in the post, trying to get some inside presence because the first quarter is heavily outside orientated.
31-25 is the scoreline with Dave Gruber on the free throw line. We're in the first minute of the second quarter. Lots of action left tonight. And two teams really hustling hard here. We've got the Hawks up court with some full court pressure. Berko Jerrick's into the game. Kicks it back to Steve Markovich. This is Blanchfield now. Waiting patiently. Not too much movement from the other players around the floor. So Blanchfield hands it off. Markovich now looking to penetrate. Bounces it back to Hinder. Can he make another three? Russell Hinder, 3 of 4 from the 3-point line tonight. As I said, living the dream.
Oh, he should make every single one of his games his retirement game because it's working for him. He's knocked down 3 from 3. 3-pointers, Russell Hinder, but what a great look by Markovich.
Yeah, Markovic is a creator, and he's a good passer out of what can be some pretty tough situations. Foreman steps around the hand of that was a great shot. It's not easy to step sideways at the three-point line, still square up and knock it down. Blanchfield goes early. It's on the front of the rim. Markovic is there to clean up, and the Crocs get another shot clock. Oh, geez, I tell you what.
It's a shootout.
Yeah, buckle up, folks. These guys are going for it. This man loves it. Hinder was there again. 34-year-old leg sprinting down court and knocking away with a block. Blanchfield back to Holmes. This game is running at a hot pace right now. Blanchfield back into Holmes, turns and shoots the fadeaway. It's off the mark, and that was Conrad's flying high to grab the rebound. Here comes Rhys Martin now. Did well to find a way to get a shot up there, but was always in some trouble. And Markovic brings it back, looking around, finds his way into traffic, nothing on there, goes to Blanchfield in the corner. Good defense from Conrad as he cuts off that penetration move. Hinder. Russell Hinder can do anything right now.
He is on fire. Russell Hinder takes his tally up to 11 points, lead all scorers in this game. Rodney Clark says, I'm going to shoot this, and doesn't hit anything.
Well, Mirko Jeric did do well there. I think he got something of a hand on that shot. This is Jacob Holmes now. Off the rim, Oscar Foreman pulls it in. 10 points the margin, 39-29 to the Crocs. Conrads.
I think Coach Dennis needs to call a timeout to give Rusty a breather. Don't sub him out, but just call a timeout. Leave him on there.
Oh, that was sweet. That was a really quick crossover from Clark and just gets into the paint, floats, and knocks down a nice soft shot. The players lining up on the other side of the floor. There's changes coming for both sides, and if you're going to play a game at this speed, you've got to keep fresh legs out there. Markovic, shut down by Clark. Markovic still looking for an option. Blanchfield is open. Not this time for Blanchfield. It goes to Clark, and he'll be hunting, looking for an opportunity. Gets around, kicks it out. Foreman, good hands from Mirko Jeric. Tremendous effort to try and get it back. Conrads goes inside, nice handoff. The two big guys really combined well for that basket.
Great effort play there by Mirko Jeric, but it just left them one man down, and Wollongong Hawk capitalised on that and found the extra man under the hoop as we have a stoppage in play. Wipe up some moisture on the floor. We see Russell Hinder takes a well-deserved break. He looked absolutely cactus out there, but he has done so well.
Mopping up some sweat, and that was Russell Hinder in the corner there, just swooping away after that. I say swooping at 34 years of age. 11 points he has, as you said, leading all scorers, and I think from memory he's only missed one shot. So it's, as I said, he's living the dream.
As they're still wiping up the floor. Oh no, they're just about finished. I was talking to Russell Hinder in the change rooms before the game about his police academy. And he told me an interesting story about the academy intake training, which I'll share with you, with the viewers, further down in the program.
Josh Pace gets an open look at the perimeter, and as we said, it's not what he normally does, but he is very capable from that mid-range. Conrads has it. Josh Pace matched up with him. This is Clark now. They set the on ball for him. He finds a way through the traffic, kicks it on. Conrad's lost control. This is Pace pushing down court. Bounces it behind him. Mirko Jeric likes the look of it. Whoa, this is a shootout. Mirko Jeric wants to get in the action. 44, I should say. 33 is the scoreline for the Crocs right now. Hawks need to put a lid on this somehow, Calvin. One of the ways is to get themselves a basket right now, but I don't know what you do. You've got to cover some wide areas of the floor to get the Crocs at the moment with those three-point bombs. Whoops, that was to no one. Bit of a misunderstanding.
The Hawks are a little bit rattled at the moment. The Crocodiles are just running the ball down their throats. They're just playing an up-tempo game, finding the first open shot and shooting it, and it's paying off. Everybody's hitting it from the three-point line.
Gordy McLeod still sitting on the bench over there, not standing and patrolling and walking as you sometimes see the coach do. I would expect he'd be hoping that this hot streak dries up and you just keep working your way through. Josh Pace slipped but managed to regain. Mirko Jeric just figured he'd throw it from outside the car park. It was a long way out. Perhaps a little bit too much adrenaline. That wasn't such a good choice.
Bit of a heat check by Jeric there.
tell you what, Jerick is working exceptionally hard on Rodney Clark there, and he's a young man up against a pretty clever campaigner in Clark.
We've got a timeout here, and I'll tell you that story about Russell Hinder. And interesting story. He went for the police training or intake, and they had to do an agility drill or skills drill and do an obstacle course, and then they put him in a room with a gun, which is the same weight, etc. Didn't have real bullets, obviously, but he had to fire at a target, number 2, and there was 10 targets set up in the dark, and he fired, and he thought he just knocked out completely number 2, but then when they turned the lights on, he actually hit number 8. So his excuse to them was that he was just taking out the surrounding enemies first before he targeted the main culprit. So, moral of the story is that if you get pulled up by Russell Hinder as a policeman, make sure you scatter the vicinity.
Well, make sure you've got a good story to tell, because he's a master storyteller.
He is.
Okay, some stories will be getting told in those timeouts there at the moment. I would think Sean Dennis would be pretty comfortable right now, and you're certainly not going to say to your players back up in any way, shape or form until you start to see some of those shots not going down. Then you might have to regroup the way you go about things. But so far, whatever the Crocs touch goes turning to goal.
There's no pressure on the Crocodiles in this game. This is the last home game. There's a lot of pressure on the Wollongong Hawks. They have to win this game to stay in playoff contention. When you've got a team that's so relaxed and no pressure, they tend to play pretty well.
Davidson now. Oscar Foreman. Tyson Demos has it. Oh, and that was a shot clock violation in the end. The Hawks were certainly very patient, but the Crocs did a really good job, Kelvin, of running and closing out right across the floor defensively.
Out of that timeout, they just switched it up to a zone there, the Crocodiles, just to give the Hawks a different look, and I think it sort of got them a little bit frazzled. Maybe took them an extra 4 seconds before they got their offensive sorted, and that ended up being the contributor to a shot clock violation.
Crawford's out there. This is Mitch Norton. Challenged by Tiggs. He goes straight back at him, gets inside. Shot clock winding down for the Crocs now. It's down to 6. Pace has it. Floats to that left-hander. You demand, Josh Pace.
Look, he's definitely taken a bit of that Brian Conklin weight on his shoulders. He's getting inside that paint and creating an inside presence for the Crocodiles, which is opening up the outside shooters as well.
I think that matchup between he and Tiggs too, like the two of them are kind of taking it a little bit personal about trying to make a statement. This is Tiggs now. That's a triple, and that is making a statement.
And immediately, Gordy McLeod is up off his seat. He's telling his players to get up the floor, pressure the ball, and it almost causes a turnover.
Looking to try and get a momentum swing of their own, the Hawks, as they hustle hard on defense. Greg Vanderjack turns and shoots the jump hook. Davidson cleans up the rebound. 46-36, it's still a 10-point margin. Clark goes in, he's looking for an option, got into all sorts of trouble, and it's Josh Pace who pushes it down court. Crawford has it, wants to go baseline. Norton is open in the corner. Too short this time, but Vanderjack gets him another look. Crawford thought about the 3, gets the 2, off the window. I don't think it was planned, but he'll take it anyway.
I don't think I've ever seen the Crocs play such a free-flowing game, Trevor, and it's looking great. They're looking great in this free-flowing, just playing basketball.
Well, it's drive, dump, kick, shift the ball, relocate, make sure you're in the gaps.
The Hawks are just trying to force their passes, and every person that is going to the hoop trying to pass is leaving their feet. They're ending up in the air with nowhere to go, and that's causing turnovers for the Wollongong Hawks.
Jacob Holmes sits down for the Crocs. He's been going well again tonight. A good, solid, consistent performer. Russell Hinder has come back in the game. We'll see if he can't keep whipping up a storm of his own as the floor wipers are out doing their job. Referee's just making sure that everything is in order. We don't want to see one of the players get hurt tonight, slipping on a wet area on the floor. Tiggs and Pace facing off under the rim.
You can see there, they're getting nice and close and a bit of words to each other.
Yep, it's not about what are you doing after the game tonight. Tiggs. Fadeaway jump shot there from Martin is off the mark. Pace pushes back. Crawford goes very early off that pass down court. And as I said, they're just running with the adrenaline right now. Tiggs one-on-one with Pace for a moment. He kicks it out. Demos forced to go baseline. He's in a double team and goes back out to Davidson. That's left of the rim. And hustling hard down low is Hinder. He and Tiggs. And it's, can't see the other one. There's Hawks players everywhere down there.
Rusty's in there somewhere. But I think the Crocodiles have done well on the scouting report too, is especially with the on-ball screens that Wollongong have been setting. The Crocodiles have been playing a defense which is pushing the offensive player away from the screen. So what that means is that it's not letting the player come off the on-ball screen. They're actually getting up on that high side of the player and pushing it low. So I think that's a really good scouting move by Sean Dennis, and it's working for them right now.
Just watching Kevin Tiggs come off there, you can just see him on the right of your screen down the end of the lineup there with the Hawks players. He's being used a little bit sparingly. They're not running him in long stints, and obviously the coach's intention, I'm sure, is to look after that knee. But he kind of, the look on the body language, kind of like, well, hey, I want to stay out here. So I guess sometimes you got to take on board the emotion of the player who's always going to want to play. But I'm just wondering how Gordy's going to handle that one as they go along. In the huddle they are, both teams. Now, a row of the girls you can see on center screen, just waving the hands there. I can see Rach McCulley, Mia Newley, Susie Batkovich. You would all know those names if you follow the WNBL. They're members of the Townsville Fire team who, unfortunately for the locals, went down to Bendigo. Congratulations to Bendigo on back-to-back championships in the women's final last weekend.
It was a great game to watch, Trev. It was close towards the end.
And you walk away from a grand final loss, no one's ever enjoyed it, no one feels good afterwards, but if you stop and evaluate the season, the Fire have been to 2 grand finals in a row themselves, so they have a lot to be proud of, and they're looking up at the big screen. You can see right now, hey, that's us up there. All right, back to the action here on court. It's Mitch Norton now bringing it down. Is greeted with a double team, but finds his way through. Pace just patiently looking around for another option. Greg Vanderjack down to Pace. The double team waiting. Oh, what a tremendous pass from Pace. And it rimmed in and out for Norton, but there was Greg Vanderjack on the spot.
Yep, running that baseline again, just sneaking through there. Great vision by Josh Pace out of the post to find it. Mitch Norton on the base, but this Rhys Martin's been strong getting to the hoop as he picks up the foul there, driving to the basket. He won't go to the foul line. He will go to the sideline.
Yep, well, once again, did he pick it up before the foul? Line ball. The referees have decided that's going to the side. The Hawks continue to have possession, but that score line is not too pretty for them right now. It's 50-36. We're about a minute and a half out from the halftime break. Good ball movement once again. Ball rims in and out, but there's Davidson. What a tremendous rebound from Davidson. Demos goes cross court. This is Martin as they slow things down. Looking for a good option. On ball comes for Martin. Foreman just peels away to the outside. This time, the Hawks get themselves the friendly roll. That was Martin. 50-36, a 14-point game. The Hawks are up the floor looking to engage the Crocodiles early. Josh Pace just winding things down a little. You got yourself a nice lead heading into half-time. There's no need to rush things. Crawford has it. Pace now, given some space. He takes a look at it, comes up empty-handed. We've got a foul off the ball in the rebounding situation. I think it's going to be Tyson Demos who's been called for a holding foul, and it will go. This team in the change room for quite a while. An opportunity to chat about what's taken place during this half and how they're going to go about getting themselves back in this contest. 54-41 is the scoreline as we start the second half. And they would need to be making a statement fairly early in this quarter just to start working their way back into this game. It doesn't have to happen in the first 2 or 3 minutes, but you really need to be getting yourself set and ready to go. Martin gets in there, but comes up with a miss, and the Crocs have that rebound once again. Josh Pace. Markovic just steadies it up. Gets a look at the defense that the Hawks are running. It's man-to-man, so the Crocs go into action on their offense. Markovic. A little bit of a bump, not a lot. But what it does for the Crocs, it gives them a reset of the shot clock. which is 14 that you get in the front court. Josh Pace goes back to Blanchfield. Crocs just taking their time. Markovic pulls back off the dribble. It's a miss, but there's Blanchfield flying in, comes up with the empty mark, and that was Oscar Foreman who grabbed the ball for the Hawks. This is Martin now. Got a collision between the players. Blanchfield has gone down reasonably hard.
Have another look at it here. He sort of gets caught up, squeezed, and his legs taken out in that screen. Not really much you can do as a defender in that situation.
Whack the elbow on the floor. Could have been one of those nice little dead arms that takes a little while. The fingers are tingling. You're trying to get it all to work again. As the floor wipers are out there just mopping up some sweat. Yep.
Hitting the funny bone. That's not
very not funny. John Dennis asking some questions of the referees, as coaches do. This Clark goes off around the court, goes around the perimeter to Foreman. Rhys Martin again. Plenty of motion from the Hawks as Clark pulled the trigger, coming off the screen out wide. Lob to Josh Pace. Pretty good ball movement from the Crocs as well as they kick it around court, looking to get the right option. Jacob Holmes steps back out of the low block, looking for an entry pass inside. It's not happening. He takes it himself. And Josh Pace in the end. Well, nobody's been able to find a basket since we've got underway almost in this quarter. And some pretty rugged action too. There's bodies flying everywhere. Let's have a look at this one.
Pace does well to get that board, but just gets a bit of contact after the shot. And here, Rhys Martin collects a finger in the eye. He will have a little bit of a breather on the bench and get that focus back as...
Well, Tyson Demos comes out too, Kelvin, and they don't lose too much with Tyson out there. But, he's had a reasonably good night tonight so far. This is Conrad's looking for options. There's plenty of motion away from the ball. Clark chased by Hinder, forced out wide. Good rotation from the Hawks. This is Foreman, but he's not able to make it fit. And Blanchfield grabs the rebound. Markovic looking to find his way into traffic, but is pulled up by Demos. Really good pass there again from Josh Pace. Quick hands. And Russell Hinder takes his tally out to 13 points.
Great up-ball tempo from the Townsville Crocodiles. Couple of passes ends up to an easy layup. But it was a great defense on the other end by Jacob Holmes, sorry, to challenge Oscar Foreman on that shot. We'll get on a look at the foul here, and he just gets his hands caught up with Tyson Demos.
Yeah, Demos is quick, a bit of a mismatch in foot speed, and Holmes lost that battle. This is Clark now. The Crocs have done a pretty decent job on Clark so far. He has just the 9 points. We know he can be a prolific scorer. Good inside execution there. Beautiful pass from Conrad's, perfectly timed, and Gruber finishes the 2.
Just made it look so simple, that offense from Wollongong. And I think on the defensive end, I know Gordy McLeod wants to disrupt and distract Townsville, but sometimes they're getting a little bit lost when they're doing all the switching as Gruber almost comes up with a fantastic
well, he's a little unlucky. He went from the schoolyard play to bounce it off the Crocs, and it went straight through their feet to another Crocs player. So,
yeah, I think Wollongong just got to knuckle down and play some one-on-one defense instead of trying to play a switching defense, because when the shot goes up, they're finding it hard to find the body to block out. And it's Murphy's Law that if you leave one player not blocked out, the ball will go towards him. But Tim Conrad knocks down the three-pointer.
That's a big one. Very important play, and this is Gruber comes back and sweeps away the Russell Hinder layup. Markovic gets it to Blanchfield. He has some time. Can he deliver? Yes, he does. As the big triple goes down.
You heard me go, ooh, because in backcourt, when we were coming down the floor there, Josh Pace just took out Tyson Demos. You see it just caught in the background there on the start of that clip. Tyson's still asking the referee about what's happened.
Well, not much, other than the shot went down. So, as I said, it's been fairly physical since we've come back after the halftime break. There's been some players down and a fair bit of physical contact, but that's what's going to happen come up to playoff time too. When you get into that end of the season, the referee seems to call less. And you've got to be out there and be prepared to get banged around. That's Demos doing well and gets the basket to count. Nice play from Tyson Demos, taking it straight at Steve Markovic.
Yeah, but I think he was still a bit angry from that previous missed call as he takes the contact The ball has been picked up from the dribble, so that's a continuation, and the points will count. Substitution, Mitch Norton will come on for Markovic. As Tyson Demos will have a chance here to reward himself with a bonus. Wollongong just aren't going away. It's 11-point deficit. Chance to go to 10 here. Still a lot of time to play in this game.
There was a 13-point margin at halftime, so they've whittled away something of that lead. They're up the court still with a fairly aggressive full-court pressure. Blanchfield just takes it at the defence. Larry Davidson just stood his ground, and Blanchfield came up short. This is Demos again, who has been very aggressive. Takes it at Blanchfield. A good contest between the two young guys, and Blanchfield won the battle. Blanchfield now on the offensive end. Got a foot violation there. It does reset the shot clock, but at the same time it does stop the offense and gives the Hawks a chance to regroup. Blanchfield goes for a sit down. Mirko Jerick is back in as Gordy McLeod goes for a sit down. He would be still somewhat concerned, Kelvin. He'd really like to see this team close this gap down during this quarter. He wouldn't want to be chasing 10 points going into the final term. No,
he wouldn't, Trev. But I think the Crocs have been playing a lot better than Wollongong so far, and it feels like they've got more of a lead than what they do. So by all means, 10 points is not much of a deficit in the scheme of things, but Tyson's been called for a foul here off the ball as he was trying to block out Pace on the rebound.
Well, Josh Pace has a nose for the ball. And a good rebounders seem to be able to read where the ball's coming off the rim as it's in the air, and you can do that if you've got an idea where you want to be. And Josh Pace just wrestling past. Mitch Norton inbounds to Russell Hinder. This is Jerick. The ball moving again from the Crocodiles. Hawks working hard on D. This is Davidson. Got a hand up. Jacob Holmes showed him 95 fakes there. And in the end, I don't think he swallowed any of them, just stepped and held his ground. This is Clark now. Good work from Norton to cut off that attempted penetration move. Demos getting around the on ball. Norton's fouled him, no question.
He's just been super aggressive, Tyson Demos. Every time he's got the ball, he's taking it straight at the hoop. You see it here. Straight around that screen and takes the contact. He'll go to the foul line for another 2 free throws. Just sense that the Crocodiles have taken foot off the pedal a little bit in this third quarter. They really need to just keep the momentum, because Wollongong are a team that is so organised and so experienced that they're never going to lie down. They're just going to keep going through their process, and then eventually they're going to get within a few points, and that's when the pressure starts to build.
Well, I think the Hawks have just dug in on the defensive end too, and the Crocs at the same time, I don't know that you can just keep running and jacking it from long range and it's going to keep going in for you. So I would suspect too that Gordy McLeod has said to the Hawks in that break at half-time, weather the storm, keep going. They can't keep jamming those threes one after another. And as you said, it's kind of dried up a little. So they've got to go find another way to get this thing done, perhaps get yourself to the free throw line. We've not seen too much of that tonight from either team. Pace now, hands off to Mitch Norton. Vanderjack has it, looking inside. Nothing there. Norton. Vanderjack has it stripped, but fortunately for the Crocs, it comes back to Norton. That was kind of ugly, but in the end, it ended up with Josh Pace and 2 points.
Lucky there for the Townsville Crocodiles. They ended up getting the fumble. Great read by Conrad there. He read that pass, and just unfortunate it didn't end up in a Hawk's hand.
Crocs switching their defense to zone again, Kelvin. They keep switching it up, which has been an issue for the Hawks. Ooh, that's not.
That's the zone killer right there. Clark says, jump on board. Don't play that zone, because I'll be knocking down 3-pointers, and it cuts the lead of Townsville back to 8 points. It was a good idea from Sean Dennis to try and change it up, but when you've got such a scorer as Rodney Clark in your team,
not much you can do about it. The two coaches there having a chat, and I was just watching the action at the other end of the floor as the players came off the court. There was a very heated exchange between Rhys Martin and Gordy McLeod. He's been in the huddle, Gordy, and now he's back out with his assistant. So the emotions starting to come from the coach there with the Hawks.
Yeah, indeed they are, because they just can't get any sort of momentum at the moment, the Wollongong Hawks. They just seem to be using up a lot of effort to try and get a score, and it's just it's for individual performances like Rodney Clark to keep the scoreboard ticking over. We've had one or two passage of plays where they've run some good offense and got a good layout, but it hasn't been consistent for the Hawks, which is probably why Gordy McLeod is a bit upset, because usually the Hawks are so consistent and so efficient on their offensive structure and the plays that they run that it just isn't happening tonight.
But with all of that, they're closing the gap. And sometimes you've got to win ugly. And it's 61-53 right now. They've brought it back from a 13-point margin in the break. It's now down to 8. So they've chipped away 5 points out of that lead. It's we're about the midway point of this the third quarter. So there's still a lot of time in this term. Both coaches now would have given their team some instructions as to what they want. And it's a matter of whether the Crocs now can start to respond, because their scoring in this quarter has been a little bit flat. Jerry got a good look, but wasn't able to deliver. And it was Davidson who pulled down that rebound. This is Clark now. Davidson goes back to Rhys. Hawks getting their offense organised. The on ball for Clark is gone. He's got some one-on-one against a big man, but chose not to go there. Conrad. This is a long-range shot over a very long arm, and Greg Vanderjack couldn't have done any more. Rodney Clark getting hot.
That was deep and downtown and over a 7-footer. Rodney Clark, that's the second one in a row. The Hawks are in some sort of 1-2-2 switching zone. It's frazzled the Crocs a little bit. Oh, but not Steven Markovic. Knocks down a three-pointer.
Well, Markovic has just, he's been tough throughout the season for the Crocs. He really does step up when they need something. He's got just the 6 points tonight, but don't be surprised if you don't see him go looking to score more if things get a little bit tough. Clark, a lot of dribble on this play. Martin as it goes back to Clark. He's looking for the action. Just couldn't make that one fit. They were deep into the shot clock there. Didn't come up with all that good a shot. Mitch Norton.
Great hands by Rhys Martin to pick the pocket of Steve Markovic. He just anticipated the way that he was going to go, and we've got a call on Mitch Norton as Rodney Clark penetrating to the hoop.
It was a soft call, but it was right. If you take a look at this on their way through, he's getting bumped and pushed with the hand on the waist, and that is an automatic call for the referees. That's the way they've been told to call what is known as a hand check. And look, at the end of the day, Mitch Norton has a foul. He has just the 2. Team foul-wise, the Crocs now have 5. That's their issue, which has put Rodney Clark over there, getting himself a nice look at a couple of cheap points.
He's just gone quiet about his business, Rodney Clark. That takes his tally now up to 16 points for the game, and he actually leads all scorers. So in this third term especially, he's starting to come alive.
Well, he had 9 at half-time, Kelvin, so he's had an 8-point quarter so far. So he has made a statement. This is Norton, gets a hand off to Vanderjack. He has time, and it's a nice little shot in the corner from the big man, Greg Vanderjack. They needed that one, the Crocs, because it's the Hawks who've had the momentum over the last few minutes. That may not change if Clark has something to say about it. Tiggs is out on the floor now. Davidson, this is Martin. The Hawks got lots of motion happening away from the ball, trying to get players free. We get an on ball for Rhys Martin. Vanderjack is there with a hand up. Tiggs gets into trouble, manages to recover. Blanchfield with the rebound from behind, starts pushing down court. There are numbers back there for the Hawks. Mitch Norton goes straight at the defense, sees a mismatch with big Larry Davidson, Kelvin, and he went looking to pick off the foul and got it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just put his head down there. He just went straight towards the hip of Larry Davidson and draws the contact, and the foul is called. Crocodiles will. There's 2 minutes and 15 to go in this third quarter, and it's a 8-point game here. And I think Wollongong had glimpses there of coming back. But the thing with Wollongong is when they get in their offense, all it takes is 1 or 2 people to be out of position, and it disrupts the flow of their offense, and people start to do a lot of dribble or take an unnecessary shot.
You think he didn't like that with the fist pump? Russell Hinder now out to 16 points in the game. Crocs dropping back into a zone again. No, yes, it is a zone. No, it's a man. I'm trying to figure out because they're all standing around, but it changes so much here, Kelvin. You've got, as a player, you have enough trouble figuring it out.
Great penetration by Martin. Yeah,
and an easy two from Davidson as well. Good finish from the big man. 69-60, a 9-point margin. 1.5 minutes to go as we approach the three-quarter time break. Vanderjack has it at the high post, looking for options. Nort goes at the rack, and a nice feed to Vanderjack, who puts down the little baby dunk.
The little baby dunk. I was waiting for a straight flush there.
Well, let's not forget he came back from a dislocated wrist a couple of weeks ago, so it was probably wise not to go too hard. But good play from Mitch Nort. This time it's Martin now, goes past Vanderjack. Vanderjack recovers, and the crowd, the players, the coach, everybody has gone nuts on that one.
You can hear the crowd in the background booing that call. We'll get a look at it here.
That's a block.
Yeah.
That's a block.
I tend to agree.
You get them, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. Greg was pretty animated, but for Greg, who's a fairly quiet sort of a guy, Sean Dennis did enough on the sideline. He did a war dance. The end result, though, is Rhys Martin at the free throw line with an opportunity to get a couple of very valuable points for the Hawks.
They're just not going away, the Wollongong Hawks. They're just hanging around within striking distance. They just got to find a combination that'll work for them. And Larry Davidson does fantastic to get an offensive board off the free throw. And we've got a travel called on Tiggs.
Just dragged the pivot foot, I guess. He was certainly off and running pretty quickly, but the referee on that side was very quick to blow the call. Blanchfield gets a chance to go at the rack. Oh, that is a spectacular play from Todd Blanchfield. Climbed up over Larry Davidson and threw down the one-hander.
Oh, I'd like to have another look at that. Todd Blanchfield rises above and throws down the dunk. I think it was a dunk. It looked like it.
Oh, it was a dunk for mine. And nice play there from Tiggs. Looking a lot like, as we said earlier, Josh Pace, little left-hander. Tiggs is animated as well, trying to encourage his teammates. Markovic comes off the on-ball. Inside pass, Crawford on the baseline. He comes up with a miss. Vanderjack does exceptionally well to get the Crocodiles another look. As they slow things down now, Markovic wisely just going, hey, settle, guys. Let's get ourselves a good shot. 16 seconds remaining on the game clock. There's about a 2-second differential. Russell Hinder is hustling hard. The two guys are on the floor. It'll be a jump ball. We need to look at the possession arrow.
Great work by Russell Hinder in backcourt. Stephen Markovic is still down, clutching at a hamstring. The trainer has come onto the court. He doesn't look well.
Trying to walk off whatever the problem is. He doesn't want to leave the court, Markovic.
But Russell Hinder saved a layup there by diving on that loose ball. Tiggs was away.
Well, Markovic is going for a sit-down wisely. There's only 9.5 seconds remaining. 10 points the margin. And the Crocodiles in possession now with 7 seconds remaining on the shot clock. So about 2 seconds of difference. The Hawks may get a chance to get something away before the end of this quarter. The Crocs will use up all of their time. Nort got himself in trouble. Vanderjack at the three-point line. It's a miss. We've got a shot clock. No, quarter time. Yeah, there was 0.3 of a second up there on the clock. So there's going to be a moment here just for the referees to check with the score bench. They've got the quarter time clock stalled for the moment, just waiting to see what the final decision will be.
I think there was still probably 1.5 seconds left on the game clock.
I think so. There was 2 seconds differential before that possession started.
Yeah.
And the Crocs, even if they took that shot on the buzzer of the time they had left, there was still 2 seconds remaining. So the clock will be reset, I believe. Still showing the quarter time 1:55 break at the moment. So just a little bit of time while the officials are working on that issue over the far side of the floor. But 2 seconds to go from the far end of the court and get a shot away. I guess you've got enough time to get it inbounds and get around near halfway. There's Gordy McLeod, but the arms folded. 10 points is the margin. They were 13 coming out of the halftime break. They got it down to, I think it was 6 at one point, Kelvin, so they've been closer, but the Crocs have done enough to come back and push the margin back out.
I think it's been an entertaining quarter. It started off quite slow, but this definitely the last few minutes has picked up, and from both teams, Wollongong are getting desperate now. They realise there's only one more quarter left to go in this game, and they're trying to push for that playoff spot. Townsville are just playing with emotion at the moment. They're playing full of emotion. Rusty's last home game, a lot of things going on off the court, and they're letting their performance letting their on-court performance dictate it now.
All right, just enough time to launch. Demos gets it away. He gets a piece of the backboard, but nothing more. So we head into that three-quarter time break with a 10-point margin, 73-63. The Crocs make their way to the sideline. They would be very happy with the way they're travelling at the moment. There's that man at the back there, Brian Conklin there, mate. They would love to have him playing tonight. But hey, we didn't. I thought without Conklin tonight, they were going to struggle in this thing and would be difficult to get over the Hawks. Right now, they're the team that's got themselves a 10-point lead.
Yeah, they're doing fantastic. And Josh Pace and Greg Vanderjack, they're really filling that role well. And not to mention, Russell Hinder is having a stellar of a game. Fantastic game. But I think the key for Wollongong is that they just got to play some tough one-on-one defense. Their defense has been switching a lot. They've been changing it up into a zone, into a spread-out switching sort of zone. I think they just got to go back to the basics and play some good one-on-one solid defense and keep the man in front of you.
Well, it's interesting you should say that about you. I know you've mentioned it a couple of times during the call so far about switching defense. That is the way Gordy McLeod does it. That's, as coach, that's what he's asking for. I did read some comments from Rotney Clark talking about how he came from a system where they didn't switch much at all when he came over from the States. Tiggs was kind of the same, and he said it took them both quite a while to adapt to what Gordy McLeod likes to do. Now, right now, you feel, Kelvin, that switching is not helping them, that perhaps they need to fight over the screens and maybe take that one-on-one contest a little more personally.
Yeah, or even just polish up that switching defense. Make sure there's a bit more talk, because what's happening is there's one or two players that have gone that are missing, particularly when a shot's taken. There's one or two players that aren't finding a person to block out, and those people are getting the offensive rebound. So it's fine to do, but everyone's got to be on the same page. I just don't think Wollongong are all on the same page on the defensive end at this point in time.
Well, looking across the stat sheets that have just come across to us, the shooting percentages are still very good for both teams. 47 from the field, 50 from three-point line for the Crocs, 49 and 50 for the Hawks. The rebound count, though, Townsville 31 to 22. And they have 12 offensive rebounds in there. And we're talking about those second chance points. It comes from a lot of that offensive glass. So that's an area that the Hawks need to pick up on too. As you said, that switching defense is allowing those offensive rebounds to happen. Okay, here we go, folks. Final quarter. It's a big one here for the Hawks. They've really got to climb back into this game. And Townsville passionately do not want to give this thing away. Gruber. The jump hook is off the mark. And no one else coming in crashing the glass there either, looking for another opportunity. Blanchfield brings it cross court. Hinder has it now. Shot clock winding down to 10. Hinder in traffic, goes back to Mitch Norton with a bit of space. It's off the mark, and it's Conrad's grabbing the rebound.
Still a great offense by Townsville, and Wollongong went straight back to their first play from the half as well, back into Gruber. But they're back into their spread-out game as we see now. The on-ball screen for Clark. He's stuck in the corner a little bit, and they've got to get a shot up quickly here.
4 seconds, 3, counting down. Oh, gets a bump and makes the 2. So first blood in this quarter go to the Hawks. Norton bringing it back now for the Crocodiles. Hawks in their man-to-man. Players in motion for Townsville. Crawford steps back off the handoff. It's off the mark and an easy rebound for Conrad as the Hawks now come back through Rotney Clark. Mitch Norton has that assignment with some help now from Russell Hinder after the on-ball. Clark given some space there. Russell Hinder kind of backed away. They wasn't sure whether he was going to switch back with Norton. And Clark has the easy 2, and all of a sudden this game is back to 6 points again. The Hawks will be happy with that start, Kelvin.
Absolutely. Clark's got 21 for the game. And just a simple little head fake and hesitation on that last play was enough to get Russell Hinder on his toes and allows Clark to go around him. Great pass by Mitch Norton.
Oh, great creativity. And what he really needed was the right man in the right place, stepping to the gap, and Hinder did that equally as well. That's Gruber, goes to Mark. Clark has it. North tagged up on the screen. This time Hinder doesn't step away, but it does leave Gruber open inside, and Russell Hinder has climbed all over him.
He had to. Dave Gruber was wide open under the hoop, but great ball movement by Wollongong Hawks. They found the person right under the hoop. No option there, but to foul Gruber, make sure he didn't get the shot off. It's all right for Russell Hinder, as he's in no trouble. That's his second foul for the game. 18 points for the game so far for Rusty.
Way above his season average. Clark. He and Jacob Holmes just talking there.
Clark is leading all scorers, 21.
21 there, 13 for Form, and the rest of their guys in single digits. And you look at how that's spread across the Crocodiles. Hinder 18, Pace 14, Blanchfield and Holmes have 10, Norton has 8. Good spread down the Hawks too. There's a number of players on 7 points in Conrads, Teagues, Gruber. Demos has 6. So everybody's contributing out there. And as we said, looking at those stats at the break, both teams are shooting at a high percentage. And low turnovers still. 3 turnovers versus 5 at three-quarter time. That is very, very good control of possession for both teams.
And Trev, just like that, it's back to 6 points this game.
Yep. Josh Pace, been quiet for a little while. Can he get involved? Goes to his favoured left hand. Really tough to guard. And he knocks down a sweet little jumper inside.
That is so hard to guard. The numerous players who have matched up on that know he's going to do that move, but still cannot stop it.
Good quick movement from the Hawks, but some pretty decent recovery and scrambling from the Crocs defensively. Blanchfield knocks it over the end line. 9 seconds left on the shot clock for the Hawks. Norton goes for a sit down. He's had a great game tonight, and another fine session on the floor. It's Markovic back in now, taking over the point guard duties for the Crocodiles. Mark behind the back, looking to find his way through traffic.
Markovic just a little bit out of position there, and he still looks a little bit ginger on that hamstring, but you're never going to know until you jump on the floor and test it out. Discussion
between Markovic there and Sean Dennis. I don't think it's about, I want to come off, coach. he's just asking for an instruction. There's Rhys Martin at the free throw line. 8 points the margin. Can he bring it back to 6 again? Gets the first one done. Well, the second's a bit of a rim rocker, but it still makes its way to the bottom of the net. Change coming for the Crocs. Russell Hinder sits down, and out comes Greg Vanderjack. Vanderjack has been very good tonight also. Only 2 points beside his name up on that board, but he should have more than that. That board's not correct. Vanderjack, I can remember at least making 2 shots.
Yeah.
But he has had a real impact tonight off the bench.
He's been great. He's got 4 rebounds, all of them offensive. 4 offensive rebounds, and he's been just battling down low the whole game, keeping the bigs of the Wollongong Hawks occupied.
Just looking at the stat sheet as Jacob Holmes gets a good look from Markovic out of all of that. That's just tremendous hustle from Pace to get another 2 points.
He just has a nose for the ball, as you said, Trev. He's just in the right position at the right time. And it's got a nice touch under the hoop.
Vanderjack just stalling Clark. Gets all the way. Oh, there comes Josh Pace. Read it perfectly. Hawks have it straight back, though. Can they convert? Oh, we're going to clean up on the three-point shot out there. There was no call on the play, but that's a tremendous shot from Conrads.
That passage of play was just amazing, wasn't it? There's a block shot. I thought the shot clock got reset when it shouldn't have. And then the shot got to Conrad. This game is starting to heat up. Stay tuned. This is going to be a cracker.
Markovic exploring, steps back. It's not there. Pace is in there again, hustling. Can he get it back for them? No, he can't. And it's Conrads who cleans it up. 5 points the margin now. Really big possession here for both teams. If the Hawks can narrow this margin, they're really on their way back here. And that's what Rodney Clark does. That is so tough to guard. We're back now to a 3-point game. The Crocs want to win this one. They really need to respond right now. Blanchfield has it. Waiting for the player movement, looking for the on-ball screen. He had it from Vanderjack. It's back in the hands of Markovic. He has Holmes in the low post. Goes into traffic. Finds Josh Pace. Josh Pace is a finisher. And that's perfect. Russell Hinder just grabs himself a quick drink there. I'm sure he'll be back in the action in the not-too-distant future.
Josh Pace is up to 20 points for the game. Very quiet 20, but he has been fantastic for Townsville with the absence of Conklin. But what a pass by Clark to Davidson. Just finishes with a nice lab. And Rotnay Clark is carrying this Wollongong Hawks team. He's knocking down the three-pointers, but just recently his drives to the hoop and those floaters are being so effective.
Well, I just remember I was saying before the game about his performances during the that 5-game winning streak. Averaged 26 points a game, nearly 5 assists. He has the 4 assists, and he has something like 23 on the scoreboard right now too. So those kind of numbers are vital to the Hawks, and he's really started to get it together. I think he was 9 at halftime, so he has 14 second-half points. So he's the man that they're looking for right now for some of that creativity, and the bigs up front have been started to convert as well.
You're exactly right about Rotnay Clark. In all of his road games, he averages about 18 points a game, but if it's over 25, they win. And if it's when they lose, he's only having about 15 points. So definitely all signals are pointing towards a Wollongong Hawks win here in terms of Rotnay Clark's scoring.
Yep, except for the scoreboard,
Except
right?
for
Because
the
they're still 3
scoreboard.
points behind. Now, Gordy's in there giving his instructions. They'll be on edge. They've still got to get this thing. There's just under 5 minutes to go. At the same time, down the other end, Coach Dennis, who has really has had a comfortable margin since probably about midway through the second term. His work efforts as one young man at the game tonight is getting a little tired, but hang in there, guy, mate. Don't miss any of the action. Coach Dennis now is going to have to work a little hard too on the sideline now that things are a lot closer. Josh Pace now. Little hand on the ball there from Martin, knocked it free. Markovic has it, waits for Jacob Holmes, nothing on. Pulls it back, that's going to miss, but there's Pace hunting. No, it goes into the hands of Conrads, who gets it to Rotnay Clark. Always busy, always active. Martin slowing things up a little, finds his way through traffic. There's nothing happening in them. There is now. Gruber did so well to position himself and gave an option there late to Rhys Martin. And that scoreline, folks, is 81-80. The Hawks are coming home. You're watching NBL TV Live. It's his tremendous action here in Townsville. Crocs' offense has dried up the last couple of trips down the floor. They desperately need something to happen for them here. Holmes is trying to make it happen. And he's been fouled by Clark. He was whacked on the elbow on the way up, but they're going to get a chance to pick up a couple of cheap points at the free throw line, and Jacobs Holmes is one of the best free throw shooters in the league. Watch the elbow. Yeah, and the player comes up back short on the shot. You do know that he's been taken out at the elbow. 81-80. The margin at three-quarter time was 10. The Hawks have really come back into this one over the last 6 minutes of this term. Jacob Holmes went on some incredible streak with free throws early in the season, Calvin. He knows what to do at this position.
And he does that job indeed. Pushes their lead back out to 3 points, but Rotnay Clark is just such a threat on offense. Mirko Jeric has the job on him at the moment.
And that was an excellent recovery there from Russell Hinder too, to knock that ball over the end line. That was, for all money, a 2-point layup for Gruber. .14 seconds on the shot clock. Hawks with plenty of time. Oh, Martin found his way through, goes back to Conrads at three-point line. This is a huge basket for Conrads. That is just a terrific shot at a terrific moment in the game as they lock it up now at 83 apiece, 3.5 to go. Holmes looks to answer. It's short and left. Hinder chasing, but it's in the hands of Clark. He looked quickly over at the coach to see what the instruction was. I think the Hawks want to rush this and take a rash option here. They want to get themselves a good look Goes cross court. Davidson has it. Rhys Martin at the top of the keyway. Guard against big man. He goes inside. Conrads is feeling it at the moment. That one's off the mark. And Jacob Holmes grabs an important rebound.
Buckle up. This game's going to go down to the wire. Looks like Wollongong have just found their mojo. Townsville, can they respond?
Looking for the man of the moment. Not this time. And an easy rebound there for... Oh, there's Josh Pace hustling. Trying to get a hand in there. Tremendous effort from Pace. Yep. And we've got a backcourt violation. The 8 seconds as he wound down. And that was a tremendous effort from Josh Pace.
Absolutely. Josh Pace putting his body on the line. And it was just that deflection to take a couple more seconds in the backcourt. And why the count didn't reset is because Josh Pace didn't actually get possession of the ball. So the count was still going. The backcourt count was still going. And they ended up with that 8-second call. This will be Townsville ball from the sideline. Scores a level.
Just have a look at this and see. Martin has it there. Well, I don't know. Josh Pace had something of a hand in there, but not right now. That's Martin's at the moment. And he doesn't touch it there. So at the end of the day, it goes around and around, and they just couldn't get themselves across the halfway line in time. Well, coach time, ladies and gentlemen. 2 coaches in the huddle now with their 2 teams, 83 apiece, 2 minutes 28 to go. This is where those guys earn their money. They need to give their team the right instructions.
Look, Wollongong Hawks should be going straight at Rodney Clark to get the ball through his hands somehow. Townsville, on the other hand, I think they just got to stick to what was working with them in the first half, was penetrating, trying to get someone in the keyway and look for the options from there. They just went a little bit hesitant in the second half here, and it hasn't been going well for them. As we see there on screen, Darren Finlay, who is the chairman of the Townsville Crocodiles.
Made a presentation to Russell Hinder earlier tonight, spoke glowingly of his contribution, but away from the game, that man and his board have a lot of work to do between now and next season to ensure the Crocs' future, and we wish them well. I know, we've got an inbounds pass in the front court for the Crocs and 24 seconds on the shot clock. Plenty of time. I think you're right about them needing to be more aggressive, Kelvin. They did go away from what they were doing earlier in the game. So take it at the defense, get yourself a few more options inside if you can. Mitch Norton, good movement. Jacob Holmes steps away. Oh, that went in and out for a moment. They found the bottom of the net.
He willed it in. Jacob Holmes definitely willed that in, and nevertheless, got the 2 points. It's 2-point lead to Townsville. What can Wollongong Hawks come up with here?
Foreman in the corner is what they've got. Hinder rushed at him, but Foreman held his nerve and knocked down a 3. And this is the first time the Hawks have been in front since way early in the game. Markovic moves it to Holmes. He's been good tonight, but that is short on the iron. And so too is that man Conrads, who grabbed the rebound for Wollongong. They want to consolidate now. They have a 1-point lead, a lead for the first time in a long time. A basket here for the Hawks can go a long way to getting them over the line tonight in what is a vital game for them as they chase a playoff berth. Clark goes into the corner. Ball movement. Back to Martin. He gets it to the layup and he will be fouled. Tremendous play from Rhys Martin.
Fantastic ball movement by the Hawks, and Rhys Martin, smart play. You see him, he will take the ball to the hoop. The defenders, you'll see him take the ball to the hoop here, and defenders are staying with the shooters, so it opens up the wide driving lane and just an easy layup. And he's got a chance here to extend Wollongong's lead to 4 points.
And 4 points is 2 baskets. You know, that's how important this is right now with 1:19 to go. Immediately, Sean Dennis has called for time. That allows him to advance the ball down to the front court too for the inbounds. So he saves some time coming down court, Cal, but they must score this trip down.
Absolutely. The pressure is on Townsville here to get a basket. They need to get a basket because it's a 4-point deficit. They don't score. Potentially, Wollongong could come up and it could be a 7-point basket, and then it's even a harder task. So
yep.
I don't know what Sean Dennis can do. Usually, I'd say go to Brian Conklin in the post.
You know what? Josh Pace.
Yep.
I'm thinking you might see the hands in Josh Pace. He'd be down in a low post there somewhere. Each time he's had it down there, most times the Hawks have double teamed. So if that's the way it unfolds, we'll see. Gordy McLeod, I think, will be talking about this defensive set right now for his guys because it's ultra important that they get a stop. So he'll be discussing what he thinks the Crocodiles might do, and probably late in that timeout we'll say, okay, if we get our hands on the ball, once we get our hands on the ball, this is what we want to do. That's Russell's family sitting there in the box, and if you saw some of those messages there at half-time, it was quite an emotional Russell Hinder at the start of the game. I think there was a few tears shed when he was hearing those I love you from his children. Anyway, he'd love to make a basket right now, just when the Crocs really need one. Josh Pace is down in that low area now. He's sweeping out to the top, but it is Josh Pace who had it. They go back to him again. Shot clock winding down. He wants to go to that left hand, but the Hawks wisely close down the gap. Can Norton do it? No. A miss. A lot of time went off the clock on that as well. And the Hawks now are in control. 89-85 inside the last minute. A basket here now can take this thing away for the Hawks. They've had to toil really hard tonight. And at times it looked like the Crocs were going to run away with it. But Wollongong have just fought this battle like a playoff contending team. That is huge from Rhys Martin. Another timeout called by the Crocs, but that was a dagger. 92-85. You can see Tyson Timos celebrating there on the sideline, and Rhys Martin, nerves of steel. And that's about players saying, I will take the responsibility when the game is on the line. Great shot from Rhys Martin. There's Gordy McLeod and his team, his coaching team, I should say, discussing things. Didn't went out the back quite so long this time. But, you know, the coaching staff are talking about probably how many possessions there are left in the game, what sort of lead we've got. The Crocs now 92-85 is the margin. If Sean Dennis can find a way to pull a rabbit out of the hat here, he will be a magician. Looks like it's going to be the Hawks tonight, and it's been a really good contest to watch. There's been some tremendous play from teams, both the teams. There's a lot of green shirts up there in the background waving the Crocodiles flag. The fans here have been very loyal throughout this season. If you heard the comments from Sean Dennis pre-game, it's been a building season. It's about looking to the future, not just this year. I've really enjoyed covering the Crocodiles this year at their home games. They've played with so much heart, and at times they've played so well. They just haven't had enough gas in the tank to get themselves through the end of this season. Here we go, looking to close this thing out. 42 seconds. Josh Pace has it. Yeah, oh, good hand from Oscar Foreman. Brilliant play. Clark gets across court. The two guards combine, and it's game over, folks, as the clock winds down. 94-85. It has just been a sensational comeback from the Hawks in this final term. They trailed by 10 coming into this quarter. They now lead by 9. That is a significant turnaround, a 19-point swing. We have one more timeout called by Sean Dennis. Wants to make sure that his players go out with some class here, and wants to make sure that they take a good option to show the fans here what they're all about, that they're a disciplined outfit who really are professional and want to show their fans the best of what they got to offer. Russell Hinder will finish tonight with 18 points, it would look at this point. He has an outstanding game so far for the Crocs. Holmes has had 14, he's been good. Josh Pace leading the way with 20. Clark has been excellent for the visitors. Rhys Martin has come into his own late in this quarter as well. And the big guys have combined very nicely. Conrads has made some huge baskets during the course of this quarter. It's been a really rewarding night for the basketball fans who have been here in Townsville at the Swamp as the Crocs make their way back out to throw one last roll of the dice in their final home game here of the season. Will it be Russell Hinder who gets to take that shot? I think he's going to be setting a down screen. If it gets to him, it'll be after it gets through some hands. Markovic has the inbounds. Norton will probably come up off a down screen from Hinder to get the ball. He has it. Markovic is trying to find a shot. Russell Hinder turns, launches. Blanchfield chases. The Hawks have it. There's only seconds remaining, and really the guys are just going to wind this one down now. It's inside 10. The Hawks have done their job tonight. At times, they looked like they were going to struggle. They looked like they weren't going to get there. I'm watching the reaction from Gordy McLeod on the other side, who slapped his hands together, looked around at his coaching staff and his